Good evening. Tonight we're tracking a rapidly escalating crisis on our continent. Canada has closed the Alaska Highway, a vital land route to Alaska, effectively isolating America's 49th state. This is not a routine closure. It's a full blockade, turning the world's longest undefended border into a choke point. The implications are enormous. National security, economic stability, and the daily lives of thousands are at stake. Truck drivers are stranded, families are separated, and Alaska's strategic position is suddenly vulnerable. Canada cites urgent environmental and security concerns, but in the US, the move is seen as a hostile act. The timing couldn't be worse, with relations already strained. The US response has been swift and furious, with former President Trump calling it an act of betrayal. Political pressure is mounting for decisive action. Emergency meetings are underway, and the world is watching. How did two close allies reach this breaking point? Tonight, we'll break down the history, the official statements, and the consequences. We'll hear from experts and explore what this means for trade, travel, and diplomacy. This is more than a news story. It's a test of a historic alliance and the stability of North America. The closure of one road has opened a deep divide between two nations. Stay with us for the latest on the Northern Blockade. To grasp the gravity of this crisis, we must understand the Alaska Highway. Built during World War II, the Alcan was a lifeline, connecting Alaska to the rest of the U.S. through Canada. After Pearl Harbor, the U.S. and Canada raced to build a secure land route, overcoming brutal conditions and forging a partnership. In less than 9 months, thousands of U.S. soldiers and Canadian workers carved a 1,400-mile road through wilderness. The highway was crucial for moving troops and supplies, securing the northern front. After the war, it became Alaska's main artery for goods, travel, and economic growth. Today, it's the backbone of Alaska's supply chain and a symbol of U.S.-Canada cooperation. The closure severs more than a road. It cuts through decades of partnership and mutual defense. What was built to unite the continent now divides it. The Alcan, once a symbol of unity, is now a tool of geopolitical pressure. For many Americans, this feels like a broken promise. The highway is more than asphalt. It's a lifeline, and its closure is a shock. Understanding this history explains the deep sense of betrayal felt today. The road that once guaranteed Alaska's security is now at the center of a new threat. The legacy of cooperation has been upended. The question now, can it be restored? The crisis erupted with a terse press release from Prime Minister Trudeau's office. Canada announced the immediate, indefinite closure of the Alaska Highway at the Beaver Creek border, citing urgent environmental and security concerns. No warning was given to the U.S., a stunning breach of protocol. The official reasons were vague, mentioning threats to fragile ecosystems and unregulated traffic, but provided little data. Within hours, Canadian authorities physically blocked the road, trapping travelers and truckers on both sides. Only local and emergency traffic could pass. Chaos and confusion followed. Alaska declared a state of emergency, warning of economic strangulation. With the land route severed, Alaska now relies almost entirely on costly air and sea transport. The U.S. political reaction was immediate, led by former President Donald Trump. On social media, Trump called the closure an act of betrayal and demanded severe economic retaliation. At a press conference, he accused Canada of strangling Alaska and undermining U.S. sovereignty. He called for 100% tariffs on Canadian goods until the highway reopens. Trump dismissed Canada's environmental concerns as a total lie, framing the move as a direct challenge to American strength. He warned that Alaska's security is at risk and accused Canada of helping our enemies. Trump's rhetoric galvanized his supporters and put intense pressure on the White House. The crisis quickly became a test of national pride and political resolve. The administration now faces a dilemma: respond forcefully or risk appearing weak. Trump's framing of the issue as personal betrayal has raised the stakes. The chance for quiet diplomacy is slipping away. The highway closure is now a symbol of American strength or vulnerability. Trump's intervention has made a negotiated settlement far more difficult. The crisis is no longer just about a road. It's about the future of U.S.-Canada relations. The world is watching America's next move. The economic shockwaves are immediate. Alaska's supply chain is in crisis. Supermarkets warn of shortages, prices are rising, and the port of Anchorage can't absorb the extra volume. Construction and energy sectors face shutdowns without critical supplies. Tourism is collapsing as travelers cancel plans, devastating local businesses. In Washington, Alaska's delegation condemns Canada's action, demanding a strong response. Republicans call for sanctions. Democrats urge diplomacy, fearing a trade war. The dispute threatens the USMCA and could destabilize global markets. Allies are alarmed. Adversaries see division. One closed highway has triggered a political and economic earthquake. Beyond politics, the human toll is mounting. Hundreds are stranded. Truckers like Tom Jenkins, stuck with spoiling goods and no way home. Families are separated like the Millers, split by a border they can't cross. Small towns along the highway are suddenly deserted, their economies in free fall. Alaskan communities face shortages and isolation, intensifying a sense of vulnerability. The psychological impact is profound. Alaskans feel cut off from the nation. Travelers are trapped in limbo, uncertain and afraid. The closure is more than a policy. It's a personal crisis for thousands. These stories remind us that decisions made in distant capitals have real, immediate consequences. The forgotten victims of the Northern blockade are ordinary people. Their lives are upended by a geopolitical standoff. The human cost is impossible to ignore. Experts agree. This is the most serious U.S.-Canada crisis in decades. Dr. Evelyn Reed says Canada's move is a calculated escalation, using Alaska's geography as leverage in broader disputes. Economist Mark Zandi warns a trade war would devastate both economies, disrupt supply chains, and trigger recession. The U.S. and Canada are deeply intertwined. Separating them would be economic self-harm. Security experts highlight Alaska's role in Arctic defense. The highway is a strategic corridor. Its closure exposes vulnerabilities and signals disunity to adversaries. Dr. Reed believes Canada is betting the U.S. will negotiate, but may have misjudged the political backlash. With Trump amplifying calls for retaliation, both sides risk being locked into confrontation. The situation is a tinderbox. One wrong move could escalate the crisis. The next steps are critical. Will leaders find a way out, or will the standoff spiral further? The world is watching for answers. The stakes could not be higher. Diplomatic channels are frozen. The U.S. has recalled its ambassador and demanded the highway's immediate reopening. Canada stands firm, citing environmental sovereignty and offering no timeline. The best hope is quiet negotiation, perhaps a joint task force to address Canada's concerns. But public pressure and heated rhetoric make compromise difficult. If the border remains closed, the U.S. may impose tariffs or disrupt other crossings, sparking tit-for-tat retaliation. The worst-case scenario, a full rupture in relations, legal battles, and long-term economic pain. Some even suggest building a bypass around Canada, a costly long-term fix. For now, the world waits. The next decisions will shape the future of U.S.-Canada relations. The outcome is uncertain, and the clock is ticking. This isn't just about a remote highway, it's about the fragility of alliances and the global order. The U.S.-Canada partnership has been a pillar of stability until now. The closure is a wake-up call. Even the closest friendships can fracture. If the crisis escalates, prices and jobs across America could be at risk. The story is a stress test for our economy, our alliances, and our sense of unity. The families and truckers affected are a mirror of our own vulnerability. The Northern blockade demands our attention and accountability from our leaders. The choices made now will define our future. Thank you for watching. Good night.